That's all I try to do is none of the recent emails come into this account on this thing at all. I mean,
Hey, Paul. How are you? Those look pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna call this meeting to order at 3:06 and let's stand for the pledge. Paul, you could lead us in the pledge.
Oh, sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Chairman Van Doren,
Here.
Mr. Clance,
Here.
Mayor Winkie,
Present.
Mr. Yago,
Present.
Ms. Parks. We have a quorum.
Awesome. Recognition of visitors. Start with Randy.
Randy Wilhelm. Dave Schneider, Round Mountain.
Gary Peters, 409 South Fifth.
Okay. Approval of minutes. Minutes are in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Okay, old business, discussion of a new multifamily code. In your packet, there is the model code from DOLA for multifamily. And also in your packet is the existing, multifamily residential code. Just to give you a little background, all of our residential-based codes in the town of Westcliff are based on the historical Clifton subdivision. So when you look at the lot sizes, for instance, they're always a multiple of the 25 by 125 lot that was platted back in 1880s by Dr. Bell and the Denver Rio Grande Railroad. So our current multifamily code is the same. It's 4 lots, but that really doesn't make much sense. When we looked at how many, we did an audit of residential properties in town. I think we found 177 vacant single-family residential lots in the town that are adjacent to streets that have water and sewer. There's additional lots that do not have water and sewer service. At that time, we didn't think we could find any multifamily lots. That turns out to not be true. We just spent some time with our attorney reviewing Vivian DeBarquet. We're basically a old subdivision of I'll call that historical Westcliff, or the Clifton Company subdivision back in the 1880s, surrounded by PUDs. Each of those PUDs has at least one distinct single-family residential zone with its own setbacks and minimum lot size and height limitation. So we currently have 7 different single-family residential zones in our tiny little town of Westcliff. We'll be looking at how to pare that down a little bit, but that's what we've got. I don't think we realized that. Dwight didn't know that. Our plan checker, that depending on where the lot was, he had a different residential zone to address that. So if we look at multifamily zones, there are, strangely enough, in the historical part of Westcliff, which is the Clifton subdivision, 1880, our current policy, Title 10 policy says you have to have 2 lots to build. you can't build on a single lot, a 25 by 125 lot. But the current policy also says that on those two lots, you can build a duplex. Or you can build two separate homes on the two separate lots that you have. And then if you add to that, our ADU policy, essentially you can build a fourplex on two lots. Just for Dave's edification, that ADU policy does not apply to any of the PUDs. They have stated in the original development agreement only one dwelling per lot. And so we can't override that without going through the audit process. So the only place you can build an ADU, Dave, is in
Yes.
old historical Westcliff.
The original platted section.
Yeah, where you see all those little tiny lots, 25 by 125. As we dug a little bit deeper, in Vivian de Parquet, it's divided, if you look at the plot of Vivian de Parquet, you'll see numbered lots. The numbered lots are single-family residential. They, and only in that PUD, do they also allow a guest house. They don't say what that is or how big or anything like that. It just says guest house. Then there are lots that are lettered. And if you read the fine print, those lettered lots can either be, in their terminology, multi-dwelling or commercial. They don't say what commercial means or what multi-dwelling means. So as we go forward and we, in one of our last meetings, we talked about what lots in town might be good candidates to become, to be rezoned to multifamily. And we've got the fellow who owns the mobile home park on Leah Lane. He also owns 4 lots that were originally in Adams filing 1. There's 4 single-family lots, and he would be open to vacating those lot lines and doing something where he could put something of higher density there, which would be a reasonable location to do something like that, because it's next to the bowling alley, next to the church, next to the mobile home park. So, but before we do anything like that, we need to take a look at our multifamily zoning regulation. And DOLA, see that pile of paper there that's about 2.5 inches thick? They created somewhat recently a model municipal code for towns like us to look at, if we're looking at changing our zoning for multifamily, for instance. There's their model, which is the starting point for us. And I think another thing I should say, we have recently had a conversation about multifamily. Well, another reason we need that code is for the town property that we're bringing in water and sewer trunk lines to. What should be the code or the zoning classification for that property too. We had talked about last year 3-story buildings in that area. One of the things that I have come to recognize, learned recently, is that our fire department does not have the capability to rescue somebody out of a 3-story window. So at this point in time, we should only be looking at 2-story buildings There could be an exception to that if we had an active fire suppression system in a building. That might change the calculation for that. But I think at this point, our fire department is only capable of managing a two-story building. Didn't know that a year ago, but I now do. So, so when we look at this model code, you know, there is the usual things that limit how many units can go on a given piece of property. They take this down to 3,000 square feet, which would be a duplex if you do the calculation, but they say the density, maximum density is 30 dwelling units per gross acre. So that limits the number of units you can put on a given property. The setbacks do that. What's not listed here in this model code is parking, because that can very much regulate what you can get on the property, depending on whether, and that's another thing you need to be taking a look at, is are we asking for 2 spaces per dwelling unit for, say, a 1-bedroom or an efficiency, or 1 space per dwelling unit, or 1.5 spaces. So all that changes. Right now, our existing regulation would be 2 spaces per dwelling. So, which takes up a hell of a lot of space and limits how many units you can get on the ground. So, the other thing is this has a 50-foot max building height, which is basically fits a 4-story envelope. We're not going to do that. So we could still kind of go with our same number, which is 35 feet. But some language that I think at this point limits you to 2 stories, but you could have still a highly pitched roof and do 2 stories and still be up around over 30 feet anyway. That's me talking enough. So I'm not really thinking about taking a vote today on this. This is for discussion. So what do each of our commissioners have to say?
What's a gross acre?
That's a good question.
208 by 208, it's 43,000 square feet.
Yeah, 43,000 square
Well,
feet.
just, I mean, it's 42,350 or something, but I don't know what a gross acre is.
43,264.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying it's that.
Yeah, that's what I've understood. The term gross acre was,
What's wrong with the term acre?
I don't know,
I think acre would have been fine. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's just an acre.
infield of a baseball field,
Yeah.
208 by 208.
Oh. Didn't
So,
know that.
all right, so, I don't have a problem with this. In terms of, you know, what the standard is or the spec is. I think we need to create multifamily zones in town rather than just having them in randomly stuck places. That would be my only concern. We have some places in town, right over here next to the apartments over the townhouses over here. There's a whole area of land, although I think it's low. It may need to have fill, but still it would be, it would fit right in. I mean, there it is. It's right next to the townhomes. So that would be a good place to
That
do it.
is in the parquet, and according to their original PUD, it's already zoned by them, not by us, but by the PUD as either multi-dwelling or commercial. Not defined what either of those are.
Right. And I don't know that those original PUDs, I remember Kayla was working on this, and the PUDs have expired. Am I right on that, Aaron?
Yes.
Yeah, and so those PUDs may not exist anymore. I don't know what the legal,
They, in our conversation with the attorneys, they have not expired. They live on after even the death of the developers. So for us to change that, we have to get, going by memory now, 75% of the property owners together to say that we're not gonna be that anymore.
Although, yes, it's already zoned that way, for residential or multifamily. Now, commercial would be another thing. And, whether we as a town want it to be commercial, I don't know if we have control over that, if the PUD says they can do it.
The PUD says for those lettered lots that, which includes Bassick, all the lots here that are still vacant on Bassick, that they can either be commercial or multi-dwelling.
Right, that's what you just said.
So, but what we don't have as a town is, what does that mean? It's not defined what that means, so that's one of the reasons we need a updated multifamily code. And we need to define of all of our commercial designations that we have in town, which one we want those to be. I think that we can do.
Right.
Okay. Any more comments, Chuck, Brian, on this model code, and any other changes you might make to it besides building height that?
Well, fan.
Okay,
And Paul covered everything.
okay,
Well, I think the two-story level is appropriate, given our 35-foot height limit, number one. I don't know that we want to go to requiring a sprinkler building. That's just going to add to the cost. We don't have that in our code now. Although downtown we have some apartments that probably should be sprinkled.
no, what the point I was making, Paul, is possibly with a fire suppression system, sprinklers, then we could go 3 stories, but
Right.
That's just gonna piss everybody off.
I just, I think you're right. Yeah.
That was the main bitch of the people.
Yeah.
Came and cried about.
Yeah, 3 stories is definitely out of the question.
Multifamily some years ago was
Yeah.
too tall.
So I think there's consensus here.
Yeah,
On
3
how many
stories is out.
Okay.
We can, I mean, as much as I love hearing people complain, but I think I'm gonna avoid that one.
Well,
If at all
we're gonna
possible.
send them to you, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. I'm standing out on the corner. But, yeah, no.
We do have a 3-story dwelling in town. That greenhouse on Fifth Street used to belong, it was originally
Yes.
Chris built it.
That's,
That's a full 3-story.
it's
Yeah, it is.
let's call it 3.5, because it's a,
It's,
Right.
yeah.
but that's right to the very limit of the height limitation.
And that's a private dwelling.
Yeah, it's a
Rather
private.
than,
That's a private
this could be,
dwelling.
this could be private too, but.
I mean, and not only making people mad, but the fire department thing, that pretty much seals the deal until they get a ladder truck. But I don't see that happening.
$1.2 million for that.
Have you considered doing a basement or partial basement dwellings as your first level?
That's a possibility, which takes us to 2.5 stories, and then I think we have a ladder problem again.
Well, Christie owns this building. She's not here, of course, but, used to be Null Portion Apartments there over on Third Street.
Yeah,
They have a basement apartment and a
There's
2-story.
3-story.
2 stories above.
Yeah, 2 stories above. So, we might want to revise this where we could keep the height limit and yet have a walkout basement type apartment down, sub-level. And accommodate that. It'd be a 3-story building, 2.5, but we might want to take a look at that.
What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, that would be doable. I mean, yeah, it's just like anytime you start to encroach on that 35 feet limit, that everybody gets all excited.
Yeah.
And,
That's
yeah,
right.
but yeah, having a walkout basement, or at least, I know now with basement apartments, they have to have the big tubs and emergency windows and,
Right.
Egress.
yeah, egress and egress, freaking, yeah, so that's a different story. But then you gotta look at parking too at the same time, if you're trying to put 2 parking spaces for every domicile. How's that gonna fit in your 23,000 square feet?
Well, no, we're talking, the
Your
minimum
gross
lot
acre, whatever
size
that number
here
was.
is three, and maybe we change that to 3,125, which
Right.
is, which captures our 25 by 125, in case we've got a lonesome lot like that we want to put something on, but that would just mean a duplex. So, based on the 30 dwelling units per acre. But I think we should probably bump the 3,000 up to 3,250, I think is the number. 35-foot building height, and then some language that limits us to 2 stories plus a, what do we call the one, garden
Garden apartment,
apartment, yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
As long as the height didn't exceed 35 feet.
Yeah.
And we'd have to talk to the fire department even with that to see
Yes,
what they thought.
You were saying that the minimum is 2 lots to put multifamily on?
well, it would be 2 lots based on this model code, because it says the lot width has to be 50 feet, that makes it 2 lots.
Well, Two
So that bumps it
full
up
lots
to
is over
65.
6,000.
Yeah, 65.
6,250.
Yeah,
Right.
6,250. So that becomes our minimum.
Right.
So, you've got all these changes, suggested changes, Aaron? Okay. So it sounds like we need to talk with our fire chief and see if he has any objections to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we need to let this simmer for a month and see, of course, it's gonna have to go to the board for approval, but, okay, I had principal building 15 feet step back to the accessory building. So if they want to put the garage on here or for cars, I suppose that's doable.
Or a
Carport or whatever, yeah. But if they want on-street parking, I guess the angle parking they could do. I don't know how many, if you would need 2 per dwelling. And you got a duplex, that's 4, so that would be, 4 would fit across 50 feet, wouldn't you think, Chuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you angled them.
Yeah.
Depending on that. So that was another one of my questions. You talk about the minimum required parking of, let's say, 2 per dwelling, right?
Right.
Does the 2 have to be included in the 3,000 square feet, or 2 can be part of the parking that's on street?
No, it's off-street parking, so, we didn't print that off, but there's parking recommendations in this model code.
Right.
And the recommendation, for multifamily is 1 per dwelling.
Okay,
But then,
that's pretty tight,
yeah,
because most people who are gonna be trying to buy a house or buy something like this, especially in this area, are gonna be double income. So that means 2 people,
2 cars.
generally 2 cars.
Yeah.
God forbid if they have a kid,
But not, 16. Not
That's
every dwelling. So anyway, I think that's a conversation.
Yeah.
Right now, in our Title 10, it's 2 per dwelling. The recommendation from DOLA is 1 per dwelling, is 1.5 where we need to land.
Well, what does that mean? 1.5 per dwelling?
That means you take,
No such things as
that's-
a car.
no,
You gonna make people drive motorcycles?
no, let me explain. Let's say you've got 20 units. That means you have to have 30 parking spaces off-street. 1.5.
Well, and then, but it comes down to on-street parking then, which starts to consume space that, you know, for other residences in the area. They've got, let's say, I have, well, Chuck and I and others in the room live in with another person, 2 cars. I park in the alley. But if I can't, I have 2 parking spaces on the street. And it's parallel parking where I live. It could be angle parking though. But still, you have to remember, we have to be cautious then of where we put these things. If it's a resident, it'd be residential, obviously, but if there's single family dwellings all around it, we have to be cautious as to how that goes with this parking.
Yeah, I think we probably want to avoid putting these next to, well, say in the middle of Shadow Ridge or something like that. In fact, we had that conversation last year and it was pretty lively.
Yes.
So
Bringing up Shallow Ridge, for example.
Yeah.
They don't have a homeowners association, but they have some declarations there. And they're all single family lots theoretically.
they're not,
They're not,
no, they have,
well, they could do duplexes.
no, they can't, you cannot build a duplex in Shadow Ridge. You can't have an ADU in Shadow Ridge, but you've got the commercial lots that are on Lake DeWeese Road that are part of that PUD, but driving into, deep into the subdivision, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 commercial lots that are in the subdivision. So actually most of the people who live there didn't realize that that was even the case. And if you look at the allowable uses for those, it's even crazier. So, but we only one of those lots is built on right now.
Do you remember? That's been fuzzy, or Aaron may remember, we had an issue come before us that they wanted to trade those lots, those commercial lots, and to be residential, and the one on the highway to be commercial. In the Lake
And then there was
Louise.
another guy that wanted to do multifamily.
Yes, that guy.
That guy got shot down. That was the guy out of Pueblo.
Right, but I thought, you remember anything like that?
Maybe it was before I started.
Yeah, right now, all those lots are still commercial.
There's what, 4 of them, right?
4 with inside the subdivision, and I think 3 more on the road.
On DeWeese Road.
Yeah.
And those are technically subject to the PUD of Shadow Ridge.
They are not technically there. Yeah, so their allowable uses are spelled out. And we could do a zoning change if we go through, on any of those lots, if we go through the public hearing process, so.
just for Round Mountain, speaking for Round Mountain.
Do you live there?
Pretty much so.
Yeah.
It would be helpful to us because of course we've had tire kickers come and say, hey, it's a possibility we can put, I've already had one up in Chevrolet that said, hey, I would like to build an ADU on this. We are going to default to Westcliff to enforce who can put an ADU on what.
We cannot put an ADU in Shadow Ridge or any of the PUDs.
So anytime with those come here,
Just send
or
them,
some type of building
send
permit.
them to Aaron.
So she gets paid the big dollars.
Yeah, that's right.
But just know that, yeah, we're not gonna
Right.
enforce whatever.
No.
We assume that Westcliff has allowed or disallowed whatever.
Yeah.
that they come. Just know that a lot of what's now under PUDs have been exploring that option.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when we passed the ADU policy, we thought it applied to the whole town. And it turns out that it does not apply to the PUDs, and they're the bulk of the town, PUDs.
I know. You might have some real thrilled people.
So any further discussion on the multifamily zoning and the parking requirements associated with it?
Well, as far as parking goes, my personal opinion is that if they have to provide 2 spaces, off-street spaces per unit, per dwelling or per apartment.
So we've got,
Rather than 3.
there's
Whatever.
there's in any given development, multifamily, you can range from a studio apartment to a 3-bedroom apartment. Do we apply the 2-car law to a studio apartment as well as a 3-bedroom? In other words, equally? That didn't make any sense to me.
Well, if you get two,
Well, even if you're in a studio apartment, you got the side chick coming over,
yeah,
You got the who coming?
the side chick. No, you got the main one, you got one on the side.
I'll tell you, all the places I've lived, multifamily or single family, the biggest disputes were parking. People parking where where they think they're not supposed to and where they really are supposed to and stuff like that. I've seen fisticuffs come out to place, even in public parking, like on the street out in Chesapeake. People, that's my parking spot. No, this is a street park, street parking. This is public parking.
Exactly, I don't know how you do it, whether you do it by number of bedrooms. If you say a studio is a 1 person living there, doubtful, but you could say, well, you have to account for that. But I think we need more than just thinking that there will be 1 automobile per dwelling unit, per apartment. There's gonna be 2. I mean, everybody has 2 cars, whether they need it or not. Aaron's got 2 cars.
What?
One's for sale, so it doesn't count. And I live out in the county, so I can park wherever I
Yeah,
want
that's
to.
right, there you go. But I just think it's smart, and I think you're right, Chuck's right about this. People do get in arguments over it, and it makes and those kinds of things always end up at the town board, wanting us to fix their problems for them. And so let's avoid this if we can right out of the chute. Now, if you got 2 lots, you got 50 by 125. That's the size of my lot in front of my house, and clearly you can get 4 automobiles at an angle park in back of my house. Period.
Off the alley.
Off the alley.
Yeah. Okay.
And this has to be off-street parking. And if you look at our plat, I mean, wherever they're gonna put this, except for maybe over here, by the apartments. Everywhere you look on this plan, where we could do, multifamily, you're gonna have an alley. You're gonna have the lots backed up by an alley. And so clearly, you could have, parking access through the alley. And so forth and so on.
We won't have alley access for every possible piece of property that we want to zone multifamily. But certainly in historical West Cliff, the alley provides a great opportunity to get access to both ends of the lot. I'm gonna agree with Paul that let's let this marinate a month. Aaron can put together this discussion and revise the model code to fit what we discussed today. And we can just leave the parking as it is right now. It's already 2 per dwelling. And that can marinate for a year or whatever. But this allows us to look at taking a vote after we get with our fire chief. And he's happy with it, that we can get something approved by the planning commission next month and then send it to the board of trustees. That fair with everybody?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. With that, let's move on. New business. Consideration of recommending to the BOT to approve or deny vacating the lot lines between 37A and 36.
37A and 36N.
And Shadow Ridge. Aaron, do you know the history on this?
I do not.
Okay, I'm gonna go by what Melanie told me. So Connie Thompson and her husband currently own 2 lots for which they have vacated the lot line. And they recently bought a 3rd lot. They're just creating space around their property, creating a bigger lot. And so they want to vacate the lot line between an existing lot and this new one that they purchased. Do I have a motion to approve or disapprove?
And we don't know what Connie wants to do other than just create space around our house.
I think they just want like a buffer.
Yeah,
So
it's
they're not-
it's a buffer.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the vacation of the lot line?
Aye.
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 Okay. Next item. So this is, again, just a discussion. There's a map in your packet. Just so we can locate what we're talking about here. It's misstated in the agenda. The rectangle there highlighted in blue, that is Lowe's. And the property in question that we're talking about is to the west, the 2 lots to the west. And how did this start? Bianca brought this up in public comment at a DOT meeting, that a large big box operation, and the source seems pretty reliable talking to her, is looking at rural towns to put a smaller version of their big box in. And that's what we're concerned about, especially for those two lots that are theoretically, not even theoretically, to my mind, probably the prime real estate left in Custer County and town. And so how might we detour them in terms of making a zoning determination or some other means from a developer like that building on those two lots?
First of all, those are not town-owned lots.
That's right, this statement is wrong, they're privately owned lots. So in the meeting, I wasn't in this meeting,
They used to be there.
Yeah.
I've never been to.
We had a chance to buy them, but we didn't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had-
Also across the street from Lowe's, there's another sizable one across to the north.
I think we should consider both the lot to the north from Lowe's and the lot to the south across the street from Lowe's. Those are all privately owned, but as a zone that we would like to see higher control of, let's say. The attorneys in the meeting, I wasn't there, suggested possibly an historical district or limiting the building size on those properties as a way of deterring development by a big box operator. The other thing is we might want to consider hiring someone to do a master plan for those three properties.
Well, there's a
And
fourth
what we'd like to
property.
see there.
There's a fourth property too, and that's south, that's across, Rosita Avenue.
That's the one I'm talking about, yeah.
That one, okay, that's private, then the two to the west, and the one that Sturmer owns,
Yes.
to the north, so there's four properties there.
Yes, there's three owners at this point for those properties.
Yes.
Yeah.
One for sale.
The one for sale, which is the one to the south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
2.8 acres, 2.8 acres.
I talked to Aaron. I think we need to talk, spend some more time with our legal counsel on this. So I'm not sure how much we can do today. I would just kind of like to test the water, test the temperature. Are the commissioners here today interested in pursuing this in any way?
Well, I personally own a subdivision big box that could accommodate a big box.
Yeah.
There is a big box there, it's mine.
Yeah, you're the big
And
boss.
there's, huh?
Yeah, you are.
Actually. I would have to recuse myself from voting, I think, because of that, but my only thought on it is, Lowe's is there, and that doesn't seem to bother anybody. It's what, 20,000 square feet or 14, I can't remember, it's not as big as, it's 14,000 square feet, I think.
That sounds about right.
And,
We're talking about something maybe triple that size.
well, I see it, yeah, I probably could, and, what if Lowe's wants to expand? We got room to do it.
They probably do it, yeah.
So I'm just saying, these are all the things that we need to put in our little thinking caps here to make our way through that. I understand what you're saying and trying to say or trying to achieve. You know, what if, maybe bad reference, but a Family Dollar, that's 10,000 square feet, the one of our business. Is that too big? What's too big? That's not big enough. See,
I think that's why I'd like
I mean,
to,
I'd like to know who this company is. Is this somebody said this? There's some article or some news that we've missed that says there's a company that wants to make, I was told at one time, some guy was trying to get me to buy land for my store. That Home Depot had a D version, quote, the version of a Home Depot. And I said, well, I'm pretty up to date on this industry. He was just trying to sell me property. Never happened. So I'm just saying, do we have any verification of this? Or is this just somebody's thought or somebody's?
This is a conversation between Bianca and somebody in the commercial real estate business that has intelligence that's believable.
Well, Bianca is usually pretty on target on this stuff, so.
She
I mean,
already-
I don't mind it. Huh?
She already said the name in the BOT meeting minutes,
Okay,
What was it?
Walmart.
Walmart. It's already on public record.
Walmart.
But, you know,
Not a Walmart big box, but
Yeah,
Walmart
their neighborhood
neighborhood
stores,
store.
yeah.
there might be enough room for one of those right there, but I mean, those, they're still pretty big.
Yeah.
And the parking that they have to supply for that. I mean, they put, right around the corner from where I lived in Chesapeake, they put a Walmart grocery store, neighborhood store. And that thing would have consumed all of Lowe's property and those two western lots. And that would have been kind of tight. So Walmart isn't gonna put in a store like that unless they're gonna have the ability to bring the customers in and make money. So if they had to shrink one down even more, it'd only be twice the size of the Lowe's. And they're not gonna, in my opinion, they're not gonna do that because Lowe's already an established grocery store up here.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would have to come in with the thought that they're gonna drive Lowe's out of business.
Or they're buying Lowe's.
So they're buying Lowe's and expanding, they could do that.
Lowe's is owned by Pay and Save.
Right.
Well, you know, I did an article in the Wall Street Journal this a number of years ago, Walmart considered its biggest threat, the dollar stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just a slippery slope whenever you start invading people's personal property rights. You know, these people have owned those pieces of property for God knows how many years, and they deserve to sell them to whomever and whatever they want, you know, I mean.
Well,
And then when do I come to tell you, no, you can't do that, because I personally don't want that.
Well, they're,
I think that would be gaudy. I think that's gonna look ugly to have a neighborhood Walmart store there.
On one hand, we have the town thinking about wanting to bring
Yeah,
industry here.
Yeah,
Which brings
exactly.
jobs and income and people spending money and stuff.
right.
And on this hand, we're talking about, oh God, we might want it, but we don't want it right here,
Yeah,
you know? Well, look at the map. We don't have a whole lot of places on this map
where it's
to
gonna
put
fit.
something. You know? Manny?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. One of those lots that are on the west side of Lowe's, the town actually has a lease on that lot. And in fact, I was just talking to you about when that lease is up, because we'd either have to renew it or let it go by the wayside. And also the lot that is south of Lowe's, I believe that to be 3 lots.
It's
not just
5.
one.
It's 5.
It's five lots, not just one.
of course, we're not the only town, town in the county. And Silver Cliff would snap that up like that,
Oh, yes,
so,
we'd be very happy to get that.
and, so.
Yeah, let's put a Costco in Silver Cliff.
There we go.
I'm gonna drive to Six Springs.
That's likely.
Trader Joe's or
Whole Foods.
Whole
There we
Foods, yeah.
go.
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's, yeah.
So I think the question is it worth pursuing more by having an additional conversation with our legal counsel about options? I'd say that, Brian, we're already limiting what people can do on the
Yeah.
property with the existing zoning. So, it's not like.
It just sucks when we keep piling on, you know? We keep piling on, making more rules, rules after rules, and then make a rule to counteract this rule, and then there's an ordinance for this because of that. And it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
Whenever you own property, and there's so many millions of different constraints.
Well, we could certainly discuss it with our attorney. I agree with Brian, on the constraints, but by the same token, what if this guy that owns those lots west of Lowe's decides to, he could sell them and develop that property, or personally develop it himself, put 2-story buildings in there, living quarters upstairs and, shops downstairs or whatever. And, what's to say that people wouldn't bitch their heads off over that?
I think, yeah, he can develop that property himself. All of those properties can be developed
Right.
within the confines of whatever we have zoned those properties now.
Yeah.
They can't do anything they want. They can only do what's allowed. And I don't know what the zoning, there's a designation for all of those. I think the 5 lots are single-family dwellings at this point in time, which is a bad idea for that location, but.
Well, if they wanted to, they could.
So,
You'll run it up to the flagpole with.
let it marinate and, further discussion after we've had a conversation with, our attorneys.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yeah.
we don't have to vote on that.
I think our lease for that, on that property, Randy, is $1 a year or $5 a year for parking for the Bluegrass Festival. That's why we
Yeah.
have that lease.
Yeah.
And the guy is very accommodating. He doesn't want it to be, he offered us we could have purchased it for $100,000. It's a number of years ago. You were on the board, I don't know, you were on the board at the time.
Yes, sir.
And we passed on it. We probably should have done it.
Yeah.
But still.
I wasn't on the board at that time.
No, you weren't. So, that's water
Water under the bridge, right?
over the bridge.
Over the bridge.
Under the dam.
Think if you reapproached him, he may reconsider.
You might wanna.
Not for that number.
Not for that 100, but I mean,
Yeah,
something.
but nobody else has approached him about development either.
That's true.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to public comment. So, our esteemed public, any comments on anything we discussed today? Dave? Yeah, you.
Yeah, my 2 cents in what you're just discussing is, find out from your lawyers how much you can control and can't control.
Yeah.
And then, as has been brought up, careful speaking one side of your mouth, but we need business, we need jobs, but we don't like those type of jobs, type of things. Cause Silvercliff will happily grab whatever you don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, that was a heartbeat,
Yeah.
so.
Which would put Lowe's out of business.
Yes.
Well, it would hurt the grocery store clearly. But it would hurt my business. They sell paint and stuff like that
Yeah.
at Walmart, don't they?
Not in those little stores. They're basically a grocery store.
Are they?
But they might have a bank. Dave, I've got one question for you. I mentioned that we counted a total of 177 vacant lots that have tappability.
That's news to me. I could say in Silvercliff, but I can't. Where are you finding those?
Okay. The reason I asked that question is that's important for Round Mountain because you need to have some idea of what capacity you need going into the future, right? So I will make a point to meet with you sometime and share that information.
Didn't that 177 want, didn't that include the new stuff that people own south of Herman.
No, that does not include those lots.
And there's 170,
Yeah, I'm like, I can't.
I'm not understanding that.
I'll show you the numbers. It's surprised me too. Okay,
I move we adjourn.
Second.
wait a minute. Any further discussion?
Who did the second?
Brian,
All right.
okay, all in favor? Aye. Thanks, everyone.
Once again,